Hey Joe, I've heard a lot of people tossing around the term data vault. Can you shed some light on what that means?
Sure. So Data Vault was a concept that was created by a guy named Dan Lidstead back in 20 years ago, like 2000. And I met Dan in like 2002, 2003 when I was just writing the Data Warehouse ETL Toolkit. And I just wanted to talk to another author back in the day when I was young and naive. And you know, the concepts of Data Vault back then didn't really work for the solutions that Caserta was offering back in the day. It had very rigid data modeling methodologies that didn't really vibe with my concepts, which were adopted from Ralph Kimball back in the day of a dimensional model bus matrix ecosystem. And but Dan has evolved Data Vault to Data Vault 2.0. And 2.0 to me makes a lot of sense. So Data Vault 2.0 is really not so much about the data model anymore. It's really about the ontology of data. And it talks about, the concepts, the architectures, the methods of moving it. And the model is also in there as well. But the model is, it's evolved. And the way it works now, I feel like it's overcoming a lot of challenges that a lot of big financial institutions are struggling with, which is like twofold. One is, how do I build a data fabric that joins data across all of the different systems in a big giant enterprise? And how do I provide data lineage? And I guess the third one also is like, how do I measure data quality as well? Which is something that's near and dear to my heart, things that I wrote about 15, 16, 17 years ago. So what I wanted to do is see if we can embrace the new Data Vault 2.0. And we've been implementing it with a few financial institutions over the last, 6 months to a year now. And we've had great success. And I'm pretty excited about it. It takes all of your data, warts and all, and it holds it in a very safe place, as it was when it was received, and that's called a raw vault, and then it designs it and cleanses it, very much like dimensional data modeling practices, and that's called a business vault, and then it connects the two together so you can very easily get to where the way data was, get to data how it is now. And that's through a whole concept of hubs, links, and satellites, which is very similar also to dimensional modeling techniques with facts and dimensions, and stars. So we're excited about using the Data Vault methods. We have some great Data Vault data modelers and practitioners, and this new ontology, I think, will be embraced by the world, as data fabrics start becoming more and more in commonplace. The other aspect of Data Vault that's kind of exciting, that maybe it's always been this way, but I never really thought about it this way. But in Data Vault 2.0, it became much more obvious to me, is you think of Data Vault as a giant graph. And for those of you who follow me on social media, I've been talking about how the graph will become like the center of the universe for enterprises, back in like 2010, 2011. I do think the graph technology hasn't been embraced the way I predicted, but I think graph as a whole, where you're connecting, entities to other entities throughout the enterprise through vectors, I do think that is something that is now coming alive through Data Vault 2.0. And that's also a pretty exciting aspect of Data Vault as well.